Hi.
What's up?
Hi. Hi. Hope you're having a good day, everyone.
Why are we saying hi so many times? I don't understand what the bit is.
It took me a moment to kind of get into it because I'm like, by the first one, I like the caffeine hadn't quite hit yet.
Okay.
So now, but part of it, they're like, oh yeah, okay.
Hi, actually.
Hi. Hope you're all having a good day. It's been another month, the first one of this year, in fact. And this month, our patrons voted for us to play a game from Elissa Black, continuing their strange vampire fixation.
Yeah.
This is like the third time in the past year that we've had that the vampires have come up. It's fine.
Yeah.
It's just patrons, do you need to tell us something? If you want us to play more vampire games on the channel, just say so.
Vampire the Masquerade Bloodlines when?
When you feel like setting that up. This is a novella called So About Last Night, an interactive novella by Elissa Black, as y'all voted for. It comes with some content warnings. Body horror, mild medical horror, smoking, alcohol consumption, use and sale of illegal narcotics, drunkenness, bodily excretions, blood, violence, gore, and sapphic intimacy. Sweet.
Sounds like a great Wednesday.
Most of those sound pretty rad, actually. So thank you for warning me about having a good time. And especially the bodily excretions. That's what I'm here for. Let's begin. Prologue. The party. You flush the toilet and wander over to the wash basin. Fat Boy Slim pounds through the thin walls as you wash your hands and stare at yourself in the mirror. To your shock, your lipstick still largely remains intact, despite the number of greasy cheese pizza slices you just wolfed down in an effort to sober up a bit.
I want pizza.
I don't, actually. You dry your hands on the only towel you can find nearby and reach into your handbag. You're going to have to find out where to buy more of this brand of lipstick. Continuing to borrow them from friends just isn't going to be sustainable. You're reapplying it around the few bits that need it when the door opens and a figure busts in. And you just about squeal in surprise and bolt upright. The figure is a girl in a pink slip dress you think you saw earlier at the party.
Oh, shit.
She says, slurring slightly.
I didn't think anyone was in here. I'm sorry.
Oh, are you all right? Are you all right, babe? You ask, continuing to apply your lipstick while staring at her in the mirror. She pauses, looking around.
Yeah.
She says,
I'm just...
You finish up with your lipstick, replace it into your handbag, and take a few steps toward her. Are you sure? You ask. She stares, her eyes barely focusing on much until they settle on the toilet.
I think...
She begins, her head bobbing about a little.
I either need to throw up or go home and throw up.
Okay, good set of options. Let's help her to the toilet. Okay, babe, you've clearly had a few. Let me just help you to the toilet. You say, reaching your arms out to support the swaying girl. As your hands are about to touch her arm, she takes a halting step forward, then slips. She comes down hard, falling away from you and landing against the bathtub. The thing is full of water, ice, plus numerous bottles of beer and wine. Her arm goes fully into it, though she still manages to stop herself from hitting any other part of her body too hard.
Shit,
she says, bringing her arm out of the ice water. Jesus, you say. Do we towel first or toilet first?
I don't know.
I feel like let's towel and then toilet.
Okay.
Sit here a minute, you say, grabbing a towel from a rack and bringing it over. She stares confusedly at her arm.
My arm is cold,
she says. You towel her arm down, then her head starts bobbing again. Okay, let's get you over here, you say, helping her to her feet. This time she accepts your help and all but slumps on you as you bring her over to the toilet. You flip the lid up. She hiccups once, then stares into space, her hair hanging all about.
Dean is really hot,
she says. You've never met a Dean and have no idea who she's talking about. She then hiccups once more, and you can already see what's coming. Let's hold her hair back. Babe, I'm just gonna hold your hair out of the way, you say. She then makes an awkward noise.
I don't wanna,
she says, but it's clear that her gastric system has other ideas. You gently pull her hair out of the way and hold it behind her head as she finally kneels over and evacuates her stomach. Seemingly she had had nothing to eat tonight beyond perhaps the worm in the bottom of what looks like tequila. You grimace and look away. There, you say, hating that you're somehow mimicking your mother's voice. Bring it all up. She does, and minutes later you find yourself wiping some of it away from her mouth and helping her to her feet again. How you doing, babe? How are you feeling? You ask. Emptying her stomach sure seems to have given her a second wind. She smiles and glances around.
I'm good.
She says.
I want a vodka soda, I think.
She then almost flips over again and is once more half supported by you. It's not our place to tell someone to stop. Like we should, but I feel weird. I still feel weird about. Let's see if she's here with anyone.
Okay.
I feel like she doesn't need a rando telling her to. Are you here with anyone? You ask. She shakes her head. How did you get here? You ask.
Local.
She says. It takes you a minute to realize she means the bus.
4?
She finishes, looking confused. Okay, was that how you were going to get home? You ask. She shrugs.
I don't know.
Let's give her a ride. I don't feel, if she's not here with anyone, then I don't feel comfortable just leaving her in the wind. You know what I mean? Your car is sitting outside. You think about it for a moment. How many drinks have you had? Shit, far too many for just 2 hours. Too many to be under the limit anyway. Damn it. How do you feel about a taxi, babe? You ask. She sighs.
That'd be nice.
Okay, come on, you say. Let's help her out the front. You begin the slow process of helping the girl out of the bathroom and through the house into the front yard. My name's Lacey, you say as you make it past some guys who laugh at the girl's state.
Sarah,
she says. Pleased to meet you, Sarah. Where is home? You exit the front door, passing a couple who are making out. Though they're also drunk enough that there's more tongue action outside each other's mouths than in.
Hey, Lace,
comes Maud's voice. Hey, you say. Maud has her bag in hand and was following a guy towards the street. Where's she going? Where are you headed? You ask, a frown forming.
I'm sorry.
Maud says.
I thought you left. I couldn't find you.
She then looks about conspiratorially and adds.
He's so cute.
You sigh.
Who's that?
She asks. This is Sarah, you say. Can you help me get her to a cab?
Hi.
Sarah says.
Your friend here is super lovely. Yeah, she is.
Maud smiles.
Sorry, ladies. I gotta go. Have a great night.
Maud heads off. You sigh. Continue helping Sarah. Didn't we just ask her to help and then she's like, nah, I'm good.
No, peace. Have a good time. Where'd your friend go?
Sarah asks as you finally get her to the side of the road. To get laid, you say.
You don't seem happy for her.
She says.
You should be happy for her. Sex is good.
Yes. Yes, it is. You begin to look up and down the street for a cab. It's not the world's busiest street, but you know there will be a few at this time of night. I'm happy she's getting laid, you say. I'm not happy that she wasn't going to tell me, as it means I need to head home on my own later.
Oh.
Sarah says. A cab with its lights on comes down the street after just a few moments. Let's flag that sucker down. You wave your hands. Hey, cab, you call out. Fortunately, the cabbie notices you waving and pulls over. So, where are you going? You ask Sarah as you help her to her feet.
Crestview.
She says.
Bedford Street.
You nod, and the taxi comes to a stop next to you both. Let's open the door for her. Where you two going? The cabbie asks, idly looking you both up and down. Just her, you say. Bedford Street, Crestview. Any idea of how much that'll be? The cabbie exhales dramatically and stares off. Maybe 20, depending on traffic. You grimace as you help Sarah into the back seat. Fuck it.
Let's be a dear and spot her the 20.
You know what? You pay it forward. If you ever end up in a situation at a party like this, you'll be happy you banked the good karma, right?
Yep.
You reach into your handbag, produce a crumpled 20, and hand it to the cabbie. Just get her there safe, dude. No trouble, he says, then shifts himself around in his seat a little, staring at Sarah. He wags a finger at her. Don't go puking in my car, girl, he says. Turns back around as you step back from the car. Turns off the handbrake, then shakes his head, saying, I know what that smell is. The cab pulls away. Fuck, you say, exhausted. Return to the party. You kick a can in the gutters, the taxi disappears into the night, then look back at the house. You're pretty sure the music playing is The Prodigy, even just from the bass that makes it out of the house. A half dozen people, mostly guys, dot the porch in the front yard, most smoking and talking pretty loudly. Without Mon there... No, fuck it. You came to have a good time. Time to have a good time. You head back across the yard.
Hey.
Comes a female voice in a strangely mid-Atlantic accent.
Can I do the Mid-Atlantic
Can
accent?
you do a Jersey accent?
Wait. I don't know what the Jersey accent... I can't do the Jersey
Mid-Atlantic.
accent.
Jersey's mid-Atlantic, right? Mid-Atlantic's that part of the eastern seaboard, right?
I don't know what the Mid-Atlantic... I know the Mid-Atlantic accent is the name of a thing, but I don't remember what it sounds like.
Well, just do your best.
I'm just going to do a voice of some kind.
She sits alone, legs crossed, perched majestically on the rail to one side of the front porch. She's wearing a tight, scuffed leather jacket, fierce but minimal makeup, short, bleached white hair in a crew cut, and black jeans with holes that seem to be from wear and tear, rather than pre-cut by someone before it got to the store. She takes a huge drag from a cigarette. Hey, you say. How's your night going? How's your night going, you ask, settling in against the same railing she's leaning against.
I just got here, so almost certainly a lot less interesting than yours.
Not sure I'd call tonight interesting so far, you say. The girl temporarily removes the cigarette from her mouth and takes a drink from the bottle beside her. She then gestures with a head toward the street. What
happened to your friend?
No, she seems much more interesting, Professor, but... I don't know how to...
We should be
my feeling is that, like, if someone did this to ask me this question, I would probably just tell them what's up.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I was minding my own business, peeing, and...
Wow.
She interjected with a smile.
TMI, huh?
I'm sorry, would you prefer I was powdering my nose? She snorts. Anyway, this girl I don't know busts in, trashed and ready to spew, so I held her hair, listened to her ramble about some guy being hot, then helped her to a cab so none of the ass-backwards fucks indoors would be taking advantage of her.
Nice.
She says.
What about the other girl?
Why were you watching us so closely?
Yeah.
You were really paying attention, you ask. What's so special about me? The girl laughs and then shrugs.
It was you or the two guys over there smoking grass on the grass.
Right on cue, you hear one of them giggle. You sigh. The other girl's my friend. I live with her and we came to the party together.
And she left with Corey.
You raise an eyebrow. Oh, was that his name? She nods.
You know anyone else here?
Nobody. You?
Just Brad. It's his house.
She says.
Well,
she continues after a pause.
You know me now, too.
All right, well...
snarky comment.
You want a snarky comment? Well, I might know if you told me your name. I'm Lacey, by the way, you say.
Ouch, cold.
She says while stubbing out her cigarette. She then hops to her feet, extending her hand towards you and saying...
Well, my apologies for being so rude. I'm Paige.
You awkwardly shake her hand.
So?
She says, grabbing her bottle.
If we're friends now, you want a drink?
You stare down at the bottle. The label has been torn off the wine bottle, lying in fragments on the table besides where Paige was just lounging. What is it? You ask.
It's a 96,
She begins, then furrows her brow while staring down at the remains of the label. Remind her that it is 1996. You do realize that it is 1996, right? You say.
96 white.
She finishes, then holds the bottle out for you with a grin on her face. A white, huh? You say. She sighs.
Oh, don't tell me you only drink French rosé or something.
Well, that sounds like an invitation. Let's grab that bottle. You wordlessly grab the labelless bottle and take a swig from it. Paige laughs.
Is it acceptable?
Okay, you know the girl who left? I said I live with her?
Yeah?
Paige prompts. We rent this goddamn shoebox in Venice. One bedroom, which is tiny.
You sleep in the same bed. Holy shit, that's so Dickensian.
Paige says. You laugh. No. The place is technically a one-bedder, but it has this tiny sunroom that was built onto the balcony. Barely big enough to keep a single bed. I rent that from her for fuck all. Hella shit if I bring someone home for a good time.
So you spend a lot of time waking up in other people's beds.
Paige smiles wryly.
Yeah.
Is that flirting? Is that like some kind of teen boy negging attempt at flirting? You ask. Because if so, you're like really bad at it. Paige sighs, a look of genuine discomfort on her face.
Sorry.
She says.
I just don't normally...
Flirt with girls? You ask. She nods. I mean, it's pretty forward of you, too. What even made you think... Paige points at your neck. What? You ask.
Your tattoo, back of your neck.
She says. She's referring to a tattoo you got last year. You and your then-girlfriend got matching ones. 2 female symbols entwined. Your face flushes red.
How'd you see it?
How'd you see it? It's under my hair and it's down. How'd you even see that? You ask.
It wasn't earlier in the evening when you arrived.
Paige says. Okay, that part is true, but still. You can't tell if it's creepy or hot to have her pay that much attention to you.
Besides,
Paige says, then gestures to your hands. What? You say.
Your nails are long, except those 3, and you've,
Oh, you say, glancing down at your right hand. It began as a joke. A few years ago, a girl you hooked up with liked that you kept your thumbnail and 2 inner fingernails so carefully trimmed, and suggested you paint them a different color to the others. She did it for you. You kept going. A quite in-joke for a relationship that never quite happened.
yeah, we gotta go for it. We gotta try.
Shit.
We gotta try.
Something shit. Think quick, Lace.
Well,
You seem perceptive, you say. Then your face burns with red-hot embarrassment yet again. Well, this is awkward, you say. Can I maybe have another swig of your very fine vintage 96 bottle of Semillon Sauv Blanc Pignol Gris Blend?
Yeah?
She says, smiling a little awkwardly herself and handing you the bottle. You take a big swig and hand the bottle back to her.
I'm sorry, that was all super awkward.
Paige says.
Let's,
Maybe try that all again, you suggest.
Well, I was going to suggest we go indoors and get them to change the music up.
Why do you want to change the music? Why, you don't like this?
No.
She says.
Moby's fine, just not when he's trying to be punk.
Holy shit, this is Moby, you ask, staring at the house the sound is blaring from.
Yeah, his new album is, look, this song is a terrible fucking cover of this great Mission of Burma track from back when punk wasn't also pop.
Paige says, heading toward the door.
He turned post-punk into pop-punk, and he will never be forgiven.
She continues, then pauses at the front door. She realizes you aren't following.
Come on,
she says. You shake your head with a smile and mild amusement at Paige's sudden passion for something other than making you feel awkward.
Did Moby actually cover Mission of Burma? Because that's bizarre if true.
I have no idea.
I fucking love
I don't
Mission
listen to
of
Moby.
Burma.
I only listen to music.
Wow. Okay, but you didn't cast shade on Mission of Burma though.
Free interaction by just randomly shitting on any other music artists that come up whenever they do. Assuming an immediately dismissive glance, even though I've never heard of them. It's free engagement, yo. You shake your head with a smile and mild amusement at Paige's sudden passion for something other than making you feel awkward. The front garden was largely devoid of life, but for the stoners sitting in a circle and an awkward-looking girl smoking a cigarette and almost certainly tripping, gently running her fingers all over the silk tree flowers by the side fence. Inside is a different story, which is partly why you'd avoided going back inside after helping Sarah to her taxi. Dozens of drunken people about your age or a bit younger congregate in groups, the loudest being a court in the lounge room held by 2 guys in polo shirts who seem to use the word bro more than any other. In the hallway, 2 brunettes talk about college while drinking electric lemonades, and the house is filled with Moby's attempt at pop punk.
There,
Paige says, pointing out a large stereo setup, the source of the current offense to Paige's sensibilities. Let's follow Paige up to the stereo system. The stereo system is a 6-stack CD player hooked up to 2 large floor speakers with a huge collection of CDs and racks to either side and above it, and it has Paige's complete attention.
Right, well, if they're torturing us with this, we need to torture them back.
Well then, you say, joining Paige in inspecting the CD collection. After a moment, you see a few options. Well, if the goal here is to torture, I feel like you can't do worse than Neil Diamond. Right? Because you can't just put Rick Astley on in the mid-90s and expect people to feel insulted by it. It just doesn't work that way yet. Times were simpler then. But yeah, between I accidentally the top bar. That's fine. Between Neil Diamond and Cher, I think we'll go with Neil Diamond.
All right.
It's gotta be this, you say, retrieving a Neil Diamond disc and holding it out to Paige.
Holy shit.
She exclaims, grabbing it and turning it over.
The Christmas album Volume 2. You just know this is going to be a stinker.
My aunt was 100% obsessed with this guy. He's peak mom music, you say.
Done deal.
Paige says and flips the case open.
This is definitely Brad's mom's. Want to do the honors?
Paige asks, holding out the CD. Let's do it.
Yeah.
She offered. We'll do. As you wish, ma'am, you say, grabbing the case and flipping it open. You habitually check the back of the disc, though the lights are so dim in the room you couldn't tell if it had any scratches anyway. You reach over to the CD player and pause, suddenly unsure just what to do. So, you say.
Oh.
Paige says, pushing a few buttons.
Never used a CD changer before.
Mighty CD player uses a single disc, and if you breathe too heavily near it, the thing skips, you say. She laughs and takes the disc from you, inserting it into the confusing tray that contains 3 separate discs. She then pushes a few more buttons.
Remember the CD changer era?
Yeah, I do.
I always felt like I was missing out for not knowing how to operate those really big complex stereo systems.
And then it didn't matter in
And
like
then
a
it
few
didn't
years because we all
matter.
started using MP3 players.
Yep.
Yep.
It didn't matter. Woo! That'll play next.
She says, turning to face you with a smile. Let's get out of here before the awfulness begins, you say. Let's head out back, you say.
Good plan.
Paige says, and takes the lead toward the back of the house. Jesus, this place has a pool? You ask, staring at the fancy lit in-ground pool, complete with a palm tree and over a small spa in the corner.
Yeah, just like Brad, to have a party on the one night of the year in LA, it's too cold for anyone to want to swim.
You head further out back, ducking into a bedroom out in the back section of the house. From there, you both sit down by the window, staring out at the sole partygoer who lies drunk by the pool. Then Neil Diamond kicks in, audible even through several walls. You both laugh like idiots and take more swigs from the rapidly emptying wine bottle. Whose room is this? You ask, glancing around to take in its sparsity.
Guest room, I think?
Says Paige, staring around too and settling on almost the only thing in the room that isn't perfunctory. Bless this house in cross-stitch, hung in a frame. She then hops up to the window, propped up on her knees and staring out into the garden, facing away from you. And the reflected blue light from the fancy outdoors pool lighting, you find yourself looking Paige over once more. Try to be subtle about it or fuck subtlety. Well, here's the thing. We've already established that she is interested in wants. Yeah, right. I think we've both established that we are both terrible flirts.
Yeah, so let's fuck subtlety.
Fuck subtlety. To hell with it. She's not been very subtle about it, and why should you be? Anyway, what she's doing right there against the window, that is a pose. You drink her in, enjoying how the light from outside spills over her leather jacket and pants, bouncing through her hair. You settle your gaze on her ass. You don't normally do this. What is it about this girl? She sifts a little, getting closer to the window, moving her ass around a bit. That is definitely not an accident.
Got a good enough view yet?
She asks, and you can almost hear the smile. You're posing. Of course I'm looking. You're posing. Of course I'm looking, you say dryly.
Good.
She says as she turns around, grinning at you. She walks over to you, ever so slightly exaggerating her otherwise natural swagger. Oh, well, what the hell. It was going to be a boring party, no more than an excuse to get out of the house. It's definitely not just that now. The only light in the room remains the glow from the outside pool lights, and something about that tickles your fancy. And also, you have to imagine that Sweet Caroline is playing the entire this is happening. Ba, ba, ba. Part of you wants the room's light on to see this gorgeous girl better, but part of you just wants to let your hands do the exploring. Your hand is on her side, slid under her jacket and against her skin below where her crop top cuts off. Ooh, are we gonna tease or are we gonna go right in? I think we tease.
Okay.
I think we tease. Tease. Run your fingers gently under her crop top. You smile a little, run your hand up over her skin under her crop top, and finally discovering she isn't wearing a bra. Your smile grows and you gently cup one of her breasts, eliciting a little involuntary gasp from her.
Jesus.
Paige says, then pushes you back against the bed so she can hold herself over you. She kisses you, and when your hand slips off her breast slightly, she uses a free hand to push yours back into place.
You don't have to be so gentle.
She says.
You won't break me.
Do we argue back? I think we're feeling a little bit back and forth.
Sassy, yeah.
Just because I wear skirts doesn't make me delicate either, you say, then grab her nipple gently but firmly between your thumb and forefinger.
Fuck.
She gasps, then leans down to kiss you again, repeating the act more and more until she moves from your lips down to your neck. I think I like being on the bottom, you say.
Nice chain.
Paige asks, between kisses. Fuck, you stammer as her kisses on your neck get more intense. She's surprisingly cold to the touch. Not that it bothers you. Then just as you're beginning to lose yourself, there's a sound from the other room. Voices, loud voices, singing. Oh no. Several of the loud guys that were dominating the room back out near the stereo are now singing along to the Neil Diamond track, poorly and off-key. Oh God, you say. Well, that CD was clearly a poor choice. Paige laughs, then leans down for another kiss.
I forgive you.
Then her hands are on you, running up under your blouse on your chest. You squeal slightly, then once more she's kissing you, working down to your neck. She pauses. You say. Don't stop. There's a look on her face. A strange look, like she's suddenly in another dimension, spacing out, tripping, lost. Her eyes are closed.
Why do you smell so good?
She asks. You snort. I smell of cheap wine and probably whatever Sarah was throwing up earlier.
No.
Paige says.
Damn.
She leans down, her eyes still closed, and begins sniffing at your neck. You laugh awkwardly. What the hell are you doing?
God, you make it hard.
She says, then licks your neck. You laugh. Flirt or just... I think we're at the part where the talking has stopped working.
Yeah, fair enough. Yeah.
Saying nothing, you gently run your fingers up along the side of her face and push it up until your lips meet. You kiss her slowly at first, but just your lips touching hers, until finally on the third or fourth time you run your tongue along her lips. She coos slightly, mirroring your behavior and running her cool tongue along your lips. She then pushes hers between them, all but massaging your tongue with hers. After a minute or so of this, she retreats slightly, cocking her head to one side with a smile.
You know, I can think of other things to do with our tongues.
You grin. She's talkative.
Okay.
Let's flirt a little bit. Just our tongues, you ask, leaning in slightly and running your fingers alongside as you kiss her again. Between kisses, she managed to get some words out.
Everything.
She says. And then...
Absolutely every...
Then, when you finally grant her just a moment of time longer...
Last bit of you.
In a slight pause, Paige suddenly pushes you back with surprising force and leans into your neck. Despite the forcefulness she shows in doing so, when she gets there, she merely kisses you, almost too delicately, like she's afraid of hurting you. Whatever confidence she had when she was all but biting your neck before seems gone for some reason.
I wonder why. What could be going on?
Then again, how do you broach that subject to someone? Like, I mean, to be clear, this was probably the conversation they should have had before any of this happened. But you know what? They were both at a party. They both, like, I understand it.
By the way, just to be clear, are you a vampire? No reason. Like, I don't know if those exist, but like are you one?
I feel like
because sure,
fine,
maybe.
Right?
Yeah,
like, I'm down to clown.
I just want to know.
Right. Here's the thing. I feel like at this point, like everything up to this point seems pretty fine, right? You don't have to necessarily reveal anything about yours. But if you're at the point where you're like, I might lose control and start biting your neck, maybe you put the kibosh on for now and say like, hold up, we need to have a quick conversation here about bitey things. Right? I mean, you want both people having a good time. She's clearly into it. Just tell her. You can't hurt me, you know, you say. She looks up at you.
You'd be surprised.
Just do it, you say. Stop being afraid. She kisses your neck, stronger this time, then stronger again and nips at it. You shudder slightly at the sticking sensation in your neck. She is really playing it safe, which just really isn't your thing. Okay, screw this, you say, grabbing Paige by her waist and lifting her slightly. She lets out a gasp of surprise. She's about as light as you'd hoped, given how slim she is. A moment later, you're swung to her to the side, shifted around, and you are now straddling her from above. She stares up at you, and you think for a moment you pick up a genuine flash of concern on her face. I feel like we should check in.
Okay.
Yeah. Are you okay? You ask.
Yeah?
She says. We can stop if you want, you say.
God, no.
She says.
Just had a moment of...
What's up? You ask. She blinks a few times.
Nothing. Never mind. So, what were you about to do?
You lean in, hovering over her neck. See, if you want to give someone a hickey, you say, the trick is... You plant your lips on the side of her neck. You start carefully sucking fairly fiercely. As you've gotten some good gas, you bring in some of her skin between your teeth. As you'd hope, she quickly finds Paige's body writhing under yours, quite involuntarily. She moans several times, increasing in intensity. You've had good reactions to hickeys before, of course, but not quite like... Then something stops. A hot flash hits you. A sensation you've never felt before, not just warm, but nauseous. You feel yourself spinning, swimming even. Then you're on your back and Paige's lips are on your neck, just as yours were moments before. Oh, you gasp as the pain in your neck picks up. You feel the pain, but only in the loosest, vaguest possible way. Lost amidst the hot flashes and the sensation that your entire head is floating on clouds, you smell something salty and metallic. The world flashes bright. There's something incredible about this feeling. You cannot see anything. With your last bit of energy, you realize you're still exploring her body with your hands. Fuck. You can't really tell if it was her or said it or you. The world vanishes. Your world is over. Oh yeah. that's how you do it right there. Part 1. The hangover. Your body is dripping with sweat and you feel utterly freezing. Your teeth chatter and for some reason your jaw aches, but not in the way it sometimes does. That kind of night. You have a vague sense of Mon knocking on your door and asking if you need anything. You don't know if it's dream or reality. Well, you can't even tell if it just happened or it was hours ago. Let's pass out again. There's vague dreams. You're walking late at night back to Venice. You're talking to 2 women in a Pinto who pulled over when they saw you. You're telling them you're okay. You're home and your keys are nowhere to be seen. You pick up the spare keys from under Mom's ceramic frog Charlie, dropping it in the process and shattering it into a ton of pieces. You're in bed. Stare at the ceiling. You're awake, you think. It's dark. How long were you asleep? Not that long if it's still dark. Your body feels gross and numb. You're totally aware of the stale sweat pooling around you. I feel like shower's the way to go here.
Yeah.
You stagger out of your bed, the womb swimming slightly. You hold onto your cheap clothes rack for support until things calm down. You're in the bathroom, the taps are on, and then you realize you're still wearing panties if nothing else. Jesus. What did you drink last night? You still have vague memories of that girl Paige, but you feel another pain in your jaw and start coughing. You plant a hand over a cracked tile in the shower and retch. Moments later, there's a pool of blood beneath you. Look down. Your vision is hazy, but it's lumpy. There's a tooth there. A moment of panic, and you probe your mouth with your fingers. Shit, you mumble, almost crying as you think of the cost of the dental work to fix it all up. Had you gotten into a fight? As you finish your shower, you can't stop tonguing all the holes in your gum. Fuck! You stick your back to your bed. You regret everything. Try to pass out again. Time passes, then unpasses, at least in your head. You're not sure what's going on, and you vaguely recall dreams about being dragged away from somewhere against your will. You think you wake up at some point and remember finding the bathroom once more, and have one of the most disgusting times of your life while situated on the chipped toilet. You're then asleep once more. Wake up. As you come to, you realize you're on the floor beside your sweat-sodden mattress. You stare out through the blinds of your tiny little bedroom, and it takes a minute for you to figure out that the yellow light coming from that direction must mean it's sunset. Sit upright. You do your best to sit upright, eventually succeeding. Your head is swimming, and you feel both hungry and with a wicked craving you've rarely felt before, if ever. Reach for a cigarette. Not that you do it often anymore, but you still keep a packet around. Here's just hoping your lighter works. You reach over to the orange wooden stool that you used as a bedside table and find a mostly unbroken cigarette in a small paper packet. Your lighter is cheap plastic and has a Minnie Mouse sticker on it. You don't even remember where it came from anymore. Out to the balcony. At some point in the past, half the large balcony was enclosed with a cheap clapboard and windows, making it a study. It's incredibly ugly, but it keeps the rain off your head, which is an improvement over the place you used to rent with your ex. You throw on a too large polo shirt and with a Lakers logo on it. Opening the little door, you leave your room and plant yourself on the rickety chair Mon keeps out there. Light your cigarette. Several flicks of your failing lighter and later, and you have fire. You slump back into the small chair, close your eyes, and take a deep drag. You try not to focus on the horns and cars coming from the nearby boulevard. The more you hear them, the more your head seems to ache. You've been sitting on the balcony smoking for maybe 2 minutes when you begin to notice an unpleasant tingling sensation. Open your eyes. You groan and open your eyes. Your skin is tingling. On your arms, your face, your legs, you glance down. Fuck, you say, the cigarette almost tumbling out of your mouth. Your skin is red, like visibly sunburnt kind of red. You scrabble indoors, not even bothering to put out your cigarette. On instinct, you head straight for the bathroom, turning on the shower and sitting under it. You feel tears welling up in your eyes. Fuck it.
Yeah, let's fucking lose it.
Yeah,
let's lose it.
showers are for crying, right? You feel yourself racked with sobs. Everything hurts, you're hungry, and everything about your body feels off. Wow, describe the trans mood in one sentence. Everything hurts, I'm hungry, and everything about my body feels weird. Whatever you've gotten, it's terrifying and you're not okay. Your eyes sting, but no tears come out. Finally, after what feels like a solid year, you feel a single tear theatrically descend your right cheek, narrowly avoiding the water hitting the rest of your face from the shower head.
Lace?
Comes a void from the bathroom door as it slowly opens a crack. Call out for your friend. Mon, you call out. Your friend's worried face pokes around the door and it's straight up the most beautiful thing you have ever seen. I am so fucked up, Monica, you stammer.
Oh, Jesus. Baby, you're smoking in the shower?
In an instant, she's down by your side. Fucking, where do we start with this? Where do we, I think, the sun,
wherever, I don't know.
There was this girl, you say, Paige.
I don't know, or wait.
Mom puts her hands gentle on her shoulders and looks clearly into her eyes.
Did she do this to you? Did she hurt you?
You shake your head. I don't think so. We were kissing and then... I don't know.
Did someone else? Did...
Mon doesn't finish the sentence, and you know where her mind is going. You shake your head. I don't think so. Mon sighs, relieved.
Holy shit.
Mon says, running a thumb over your right cheek.
Your eye was bleeding. Can you see okay?
Oh, you say bleakly, staring at the red color on Mon's thumb. Yeah, I can see fine. I'm sunburnt, you say as Mon grabs the cigarette from your mouth and stabs it out beside the shower stall. She looks you up and down.
You're a bit rad,
She says.
What are you talking about? You got sunburned at the party?
No, you say and glance down. Your skin is still a little red, but the tingling is gone. You really can barely see it now. How weird.
Jesus, what happened to your neck?
She asks, staring at the side of your neck. Hickey, you say, smiling stupidly.
Hell of a hickey.
Mon says.
What happened?
She asks. Tell her about your teeth. Hi, my teeth, you say.
What about them?
She says as she reaches over and turns off the shower taps. I think I dreamt that, You reach up your fingers up to your mouth and prod. Your teeth are, weirdly, all there. Was it a dream?
Jesus.
Mon says, staring at the red puddle still sitting in one corner of the shower. Sure enough, not one but two of your teeth are sitting there covered in blood.
Okay, Lace, let's get you back to your bed.
Mon reaches down and slowly helps you to your feet. When you're standing, she reaches over and grabs a nearby beach towel, draping it around you. Let's take that lean. You accept her help and she helps you hobble back to your bare mattress. After a few paces, however, you find your strength returning a little and manage the rest on your own. A moment later, you're walking back through the tiny balcony into your room. You glance over the balcony and find the sun has almost entirely set. Just a glimmer of orange leaks over the horizon. Inside your room, you sit down on your bare mattress and Mon walks in behind you.
Jesus.
She says, glancing at the pile in a corner.
You did a real number on your bedding.
You both sit there for a moment, nothing spoken. What time do we get home? Oh, shit. Pretend you didn't see that. What time is it? You ask as Mon looks around your room, more than a little stunned at the mess.
It's like 7:30?
She says. So that's like what, 12 hours more? You ask. When did I get back from the party? Mon sits herself down on the edge of your mattress, carefully avoiding any of the visible soiling marks from your sweaty, unpleasant sleep.
Lace, it's Monday night. You got back sometime Saturday night. I've been coming in here to check on you a bit. You kept telling me you were fine. I thought you were hungover.
Never had a hangover like this, you say. It's staring around your room. Christ, I am hungry.
We've got noodles?
Mon says.
You haven't been hungry every time I checked in the last few days.
Well, so I'm glad to know that she checks in on us. Let's get changed. To your surprise, you seem to have a lot more energy back. You hop to your feet, take off the soggy polo shirt, and towel yourself down. I'll be out in a moment, you say.
I'll go boil some water.
Mon says.
You sure you're okay?
You turn your back around to face your friend as she stands in your door. I think so, you say.
Okay,
She says and disappears. You throw in a fresh t-shirt, panties, cutoffs, and the denim jacket from Saturday night, which shockingly still seems perfectly clean. Head to the kitchen. You then head indoors, sitting down at the crappy fold-out card table that occupies the corner of your kitchen. Mon stands by the lopsided stove, boiling some water in a small saucepan and looking thoughtful. It's the weirdest feeling, you say as you slump head in your hands.
A hangover?
She asks.
What happened to you anyway?
I don't know, like maybe I got something? I hooked up with this girl.
Paige?
She asks. You nod. Let's ask Mon how her evening went.
Mm-hmm.
Did you end up with, Corey? You ask. She nods her head.
Yeah.
She then says, trailing off. Not everything you hoped, you ask. She shakes her head.
No, he was like fine, I guess, but I mean, I'm telling him like I'm not really that into regular fucking and he's got to go down on me and he's like licking every damn part of me but what matters. Like he had no idea what to do down there.
Suggest a map. Maybe you should keep some flyers on you. The Gentleman's Guide to Finding the Clit, you say. Mon smirks.
You ever like have a partner who just has no idea what bits are where?
You look at her deadpan. I'm a lesbian, Mon, so... No, not really. Not like that anyway.
That sounds heavenly.
She sighs. You'd be surprised, you laughed. Some people really just suck at sex. Let's talk about Paige. Paige was like, I don't know, hot, flirty.
And you think she like gave you something?
I don't know, you say, but I never felt like this before.
Did you two like do anything?
Mon asks. He raises an eyebrow. Mon, baby, yes, we did things. You don't normally ask about that,
No.
Mom says, blushing.
I mean, like, did she offer you a line or anything?
Just white wine, you say.
And it wasn't like...
You stare up at Mom. You're asking if she spiked it? That's not really a girl thing,
No, I guess maybe not.
she says and stares back down at the water on the stove. Let's talk about how we feel. Jesus, I just feel like total trash. Like my skin is both numb and hypersensitive at the same time.
So did you two, like, enter things like okay down there?
You stare at Mon, your eyebrows rising. Wow, Mon, just wow,
Sorry.
she says.
Just like...
I mean, I think I'm fine, you say. I mean, like, my stomach wasn't. I swear I threw up, like, or, you know, got rid of basically everything that I could have ever been in my stomach. It was so gross,
I mean, it kinda sounds like a hangover?
Mon says, not even really convincing herself. The water is boiled, and Mon empties it into a bowl with the packet noodles. She then dumps the sachet into it, stirs a little, and maneuvers the bowl over to the table. Thanks, you say. You're a legend. Dig in. You stare at the bowl of noodles. You're so goddamn hungry, but on some really primal level, they seem unappetizing. Not in a bad noodles with nothing but ketchup flavor way, but a very this is not food kind of way. Still, you jam the fork in, collect a few of the limp noodles, and shovel them into your mouth. The moment they are in your mouth, the taste hits you. It's like cardboard and mold, but without any of the nuance that disgusting pairing would actually engender. Without meaning to, you retch and spit it straight back out.
Jesus.
Mon says, standing back from the table to avoid it splashing onto her. Holy shit, you say. God, I am so sorry. Mon stares down at you, her jaw slack in surprise. Jesus, what is this? You say.
Chicken, I think?
Mon then sits back down in the adjacent chair and leans over, taking in the smell from the bowl.
Smells fine to me.
You slump back into your chair. Great. Everything tastes terrible, and I can't keep any food down. Mon looks at you, a real serious look on her face.
Lace, I'm really worried about you. My friend Dan works at a free clinic down the road. Perhaps we can sneak you in to see him, or I'm sure he wouldn't mind. He owes me one anyway.
Free clinic? I'm pretty sure she didn't knock me up, Mon, you reply flatly.
Yeah, but like, maybe she did give you something?
You shake your head. I don't think there's anything you can get that breaks your body in like the same night you get it,
Maybe not,
Mon says.
but like, maybe having a nurse check you out might be good?
Probably, TBH. Yeah, I guess so. I guess it can't hurt, you say. Fuck, I hate doctors,
Well,
Mon says, grabbing the bowl and taking it over to the sink.
Dan's a nurse, not a doctor, so that won't be a problem. Anyway.
Great, she continues.
Give me an hour odd to talk to Dan, then just head down to the place. It's,
I think I know the place, you say, remembering seeing signs for. Anyway, you say, standing up, thanks for the food and, everything,
no trouble.
she says.
If you're feeling better, can you maybe clean up the mess in the shower before I have to use it tomorrow?
Yeah, sure, you say. Standing up, you feel around for what should be your pockets. Mon, have you seen my keys?
You gave them to me when you started drinking.
Mon said.
They're in the bowl by the door.
She left without giving us our keys back. Ha! Dick move. You're gonna make a great housewife, you say with a really silly grin.
You won't catch me dead marrying a house.
Mon says as she continues cleaning. As you get to the door, you pause, working through your patchy memory. Wait, how did I get home? I clearly didn't drive, so...
I don't know.
Mon says. So I left at the party. Need to go hit them up and find out just where I can get in contact with that page girl.
Well, take care driving.
She says. Yes, Mom, you say.
And I'll call my friend about the clinic. Should be able to drop a little later on.
Thanks, you say, dropping the sarcasm for a moment. And, like, I mean that. You're a legend.
I know.
She sighs. You grab your keys, which are precisely where Mon said they would be, and head out into the night. Before the party, it seemed like a fair idea. You drive yourself up and Mon to the party, share a cab home, and get a lift back out there from a friend, or if worse comes to worse, another cab. Paying on your own for the vomiting girl's taxi ate into what little money you had. So here you are, regretting yet another life decision as you walk up from your unfashionable shoebox in the back streets of Venice Beach up to the prissy family home near the golf course people were trashing just a few nights ago. Walking. Seriously, who walks in LA? You do, apparently. Well, it's well over an hour, and the future shock isn't your shame at having to walk that far through the cool evening back to where you left your car. It's that you're somehow not feeling tired. Actually, it's rather pleasant. A breeze that was probably stronger closer to the ocean is still passing through. Despite the odd numb feeling in your skin and the hunger, at least the breeze gives you another sensation to focus on. That and your muscles, anyway. They feel strange. They should be aching more. Bellows a loud, masculine voice from a car that speeds by, followed by cackles. You react with a start, hoping the dickheads in the car didn't see a response to get the satisfaction. Keep walking while imagining awful things happening to the guys. Find yourself imagining the idiots wrapped around a pole because they were too busy catcalling at some other poor girl. That's not a bad image. It makes you feel a little bit better as you keep walking. As you get further out of Venice and through Mar Vista, you pass a taco stand with an energetic-looking man working at the meat rotisserie. You're so goddamn hungry, but in a strange way, your stomach isn't growling. As you pass the stand, you smell the meat and chili cooking, and it smells awful? Goddamn, whatever this is has seriously fucked you up again, but then you should eat. You've done a little bit, but throw up and find other more gross ways to get rid of the contents of your stomach for 2 days now, apparently. Let's not risk it. We don't want to ruin this guy's evening.
Fair enough.
The last orange hints of sunlight in the west are entirely gone by the time you reach your car. It may be dented slow and small, 56 different colors, and owning a funk of stale cigarettes from eons past, but right now it is absolutely 100% the most beautiful thing you have ever seen. No matter how bad a problem it gets, you can drive away, you can feel better about it. Hit the bricks!
Hit the bricks!
Or at least that's how it feels to you. Your little two-door Datsun is parked under a large tree. Enter our little multicolored savior. You unlock the driver's side door and slip inside, exhaling deeply and sighing as you sink lightly into the old springs and leather seat. Fuck, you say out loud. Now what? It's a habit, but start the car. You turn the keys in the ignition and your engine grumbles to life. Checking to make sure you still have the half tank of fuel, you turn it off and sigh. One more thing to do. Get out and lock your car. You exit the car, lock the car door, and begin walking down the street. Time to go hit up Brad and see if he can tell you anything about Paige. It's a block and a half amidst the gently swaying trees on the other side of the street, but soon enough you're back at the party house. Not that it's a party house anymore. The detritus and stoners are gone from the front, and the faint sound of TV is audible far back into the house. In the driveway sits a well-maintained but old Volvo. I feel like we knock here.
Yeah.
Going around to look around the house is creepy. Walking up to the patio, you stare briefly at the spot where you first met Paige. An image of her flashes in the back of your mind, her bleached white hair, her leather jacket, her tight pants, how her lips felt on you, and then a flash of other memories, pain, something warm dripping down your neck. Fuck. You shake yourself out of it and knock loudly on the front door. Wait. After a few moments, the front door opens and a middle-aged woman opens the door.
Yes, dear. How can I help you?
Hi, ma'am. My name's Lacey. I'm trying to get a hold of your son, Brad. The moment it comes out of your mouth, well, you have a brief panic. What if Brad isn't actually their son? What if this is aunt and uncle's place and he was borrowing to host the party?
Who's that, honey?
Calls a gruff male voice from inside the house, punctuated with a smoker's cough.
It's a nice young woman looking for Brad.
You hear a snort.
There always is.
The woman blushes slightly and lets out a brief and awkward smile.
He hasn't been around in a couple of days. I'm so sorry, dear.
Let's get a phone number. Sorry to bother you. Do you have perhaps a phone number for him? I really need to get in touch. Again, the gruff voice from the other room calls out.
What does she want, Beatrice? Not gonna say it.
Nope, not gonna say it.
She says she needs to contact him.
Beatrice says out to the man.
What for?
The man calls out once more. You suppress a wince.
It's not.
The woman says, then glances and gestures towards your lowered abdomen.
Is it?
You flush voluntarily as you realize what she means. No, it's not that. Oh, no. Nothing like that, you say.
Oh, good.
She says, relief in her voice. I wonder if this is a common problem. I still really need to contact him, though, so... Look, I really do need to get in touch with him. It is important, ma'am, if you reaffirm.
Hold on a second.
She says, and then turns around. By the front door is a small side table you never saw at the party. Perhaps Brad put a lot of these things away before people came over. Thoughtful. She heads over to it, picks up a strangely fancy-looking silver pen, and begins writing with eerie precision on a white card she plucks from a small rectangular tray.
What's going on?
The man calls again.
Nothing, dear. I'm just writing something for this young lady.
She replies with strange precision at a higher pitch than normal. She then heads back to you and smiles while holding up the card. Take the card. Thank you, you say. It's very much appreciated. You take the card from her and hand her hand as she wordlessly shuts the front door and say nothing else. Whoa-ho-ho, you say, staring at the card in the patio light. The top is a printed bit of text which reads, "Thank you for calling at the Burkett residence." Perfect near calligraphic handwriting beneath it contains a phone number, which the name R. Darling Bradley above it in equally fancy handwriting. You walk away from the house, pocketing the card and feeling weirdly dirty just having had that whole interaction. I mean, yeah. Head back to your car. You wander through the near-empty streets and finally make it back to your Datsun. You open the door and slump into the springy and comfortable seat. Turning the key, you start your beloved multicolored vehicle, the radio clicking on to precisely what it was tuned to before. One song is just finishing, closely followed by an air check.
You're tuned to KQYY, because why not?
A voice crackles out from the beat-up speakers.
Humble Harry taking you through from late night to early morning.
You roll your eyes. Time for your next step. Part 2, the hunt. Drive around to find a phone booth.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah, we're 90s up in here. Oh, man. Oh, man. I haven't used an actual phone booth. Have I ever actually used an actual phone booth? I've used public phones, payphones before. I don't think I've ever actually used a phone booth. I don't think I ever had that particular pleasure. Without so much else to go on, you drive a street or two to the west, vaguely trying to recall where the nearest shops are. Eventually, you decide to just follow the majority of the traffic. Sure enough, you soon find yourself passing by numerous ill-maintained shops. You pull over near a few phone booths set in the footpath roughly near a nail salon and shoe repair shop. Both have metal covers that are intensely scratched up. First one has a coin slot that's filled with something solid and gross that may have once been bubblegum. And to add further injury, someone seems to have torn the handset entirely from the phone. Fortunately, the second one seems to be functional. See, like, I get if you're going to be angry at stuff, right? But don't take it out on, like, public works. Like, other people need that. Come on now. You fumble around in your purse a moment before producing a quarter, then jam it into the phone. Producing the card with the phone number on it, you begin to punch the number in, grimacing as you realize the 5 button is sticky. Why is it sticky? As you hear the ringtone at the end, the car pulls up not far past the phone booth. It's an older red convertible, and a guy in his sunglasses up front begins sifting through a street directory as his 80s hair metal music continues blasting at an annoying volume.
Hello?
Comes a voice you can barely hear as you jam your free finger in your ear to try to drown out the walking wall of Machismo's music. Ask for Brad. Hey there, is this Brad? You ask.
Oh, sorry, can't hear you.
The voice says with a feminine cadence. You take a deep breath and speak up. How do we play this?
I don't know.
Looks like someone else. Brad is in. I don't want to coitus interruptus the guy, but we kind of do. This is a matter of health.
Yeah.
So unfortunately for him, he is gonna have to.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like it's not a personal thing. I don't want to. Let's ask if Brad is home. My name's Lacey, you call out loudly. I'm looking for Brad.
Oh, no, I'm not Brad. I'm Naomi. He's out right now. That's the voice we wanted. We're sticking with it. Yeah.
Oh, you say, then ask, where is he? Unfortunately, the idiot in the car zooms off while you're talking, making it even more noise for a spell.
Oh?
The girl asks, where's Brad? I need to talk to him, you repeat.
Oh, he's shooting something tonight,
she says.
Hold on, I can get you the address.
Shooting. You idly wonder if it's a photo shoot or if Brad's one of the 80,000 20-somethings in LA who now thinks he's Quentin Tarantino. After a moment, you hear the phone receiver being picked up again.
He's at the cemetery tonight, apparently.
Hollywood Forever? You ask.
No, the one near here, LA National Cemetery, just near Westwood Park, she says.
That's not a small place, you know. Don't suppose you know where he is precisely?
No,
Naomi says, and immediately cut off as the line goes dead. Damn it, somehow you missed the tone to insert more coins. Oh well, at least you know where to go now. You place the receiver down and pause a moment as a wave of nausea hits you, followed by another intense feeling of hunger? You're still not sure that's the word for it. You're definitely hungry, but just not in a way you've felt before. It's more like a craving, except you aren't sure what for. Sitting back in your car, you close your eyes a moment and regain some calm. Time for our next step, you guess. You can either go find Brad or head to the free clinic to see Mon's friend.
You okay?
Okay. I almost spilled my precious fluid. Coffee. Coffee is the fluid. Do we want to immediately try to head out and find Brad, or do we want to hit the clinic first?
I don't know.
I feel like maybe hitting the clinic isn't a bad idea. Brad will be filming for a while.
Okay.
Once again, you get driving. As you accelerate through some yellow lights, you feel some of your anxiety slipping away. LA is a city all but built for cars. There's something very calming for you about driving in it. Driving about by night is, in your opinion, the way LA was supposed to be experienced. It's that haze of motorist pleasure you're experiencing when, almost at the same time, an idiot in a BMW cuts you off, runs a red, and you realize you're entirely the wrong lane. You sigh. So maybe not actually that relaxing. You drum your fingers on the steering wheel and start futzing with your radio. You put a CD in. You technically do have a CD player, but it skips so often you really just use it as an overpriced radio. Music is playing when the light finally changes green, and once again you're back in one of your relatively happy places. Figure it's probably time to go see Mom's friend at the free clinic before her friend possibly clocks off for the night as time continues to get away from you. You drive back much the way you originally came, slowly able to use more and more of the main roads without traffic getting too bad. It's the upside of driving at night, you guess. To Venice Beach! Sure enough, as you get into Venice Beach proper, you see one of the signs you remember. The Margaret Russell Free Clinic for Women and Girls, it reads. Follow the arrow and soon enough are pulling up in front of a series of trailers connected together in what looks like once was a parking lot. Pull up behind another parked car on the other side of the street and you find yourself exhaling deeply as you remove the keys from your car. Damn, are you nervous? You're normally not nervous with doctors about anything but the bill. Up to the clinic. The whole structure seems to be made out of interconnected prefabs with a few freestanding ones on either side, lights coming out through all the windows. The front door is a sign describing what the clinic does and doesn't do, and that it requires parental attendance for girls under 21, and a few other points like that. Push the door open and enter the very small waiting area. There's 4 chairs, a door to the toilet which reads patients only, and a woman at a small desk leafing through some paper. She talks on the phone. Approach the front desk. I walk up to the front desk and wait patiently for the young secretary to finish helping someone on the phone. When she's done providing them with the opening hours, she puts down the phone and smiles at you.
Can I help you?
She asks. Yeah, I'm Lacey Lando. I was told to come in around now to see, Dan? You say. He's a nurse?
Oh, yes, he's on tonight. I'll let him know you're here the moment he's done with his current patient. Feel free to take a seat over there.
She gestures to the cheap-looking plastic chairs lined up under a corkboard. Thanks, you say and sit down at one of the seats. Wait. The cold fluorescent lights are getting to you. No, everything is getting to you. Even your stomach is playing up. This sucks. You hear the door open. Into the door walks a young woman, probably no more than 19 or 20, her gait visibly affected by the baby bump under her loose-fitted floral dress. After a brief, polite, but sheepish talk to the secretary, she takes a seat near you. Your eyes briefly meet, and there's a polite smile. No. You don't small talk in the doctor. No. Everyone knows what they're here for. You don't make it worse. You keep to yourself, staring at your feet a bit and focusing on the once more growing sense of discomfort in your stomach. Damn, it's the first time since you left home tonight. You keel over slightly, grabbing your stomach.
Are you okay?
The girl asks. Let's not. Yeah, you say, realizing there's no way anyone with any wits about them would believe you.
The bathroom's in there.
The girl says, concern all through her voice. Then the room begins to vanish. Your view narrows, and suddenly it's like the only 2 things you can focus on are the secretary and the young expecting girl. A wave of hunger and nausea hit you all at once and stronger than ever. It's head for the bathroom. You mean to say excuse me or some variation. The girl's been nothing but polite after all, but your stomach stops you. A moment later, you're barreled through the door into the small bathroom, and without even waiting for the door to slam shut behind you, what little remains in your stomach begins being expelled into the toilet. For a moment or 2 of dry retching, you finally seem to have hit your limit. Christ, you say under your breath, opening your eyes again. There's red in the toilet. You threw up blood again. Jesus Christ, you mumble, flushing the toilet, wiping yourself down with toilet paper. You splash your face. Back into the waiting room. Staggering slightly, you collapse into the same chair beside the concerned-looking girl. You've been sitting a moment when she talks.
I had it for 3 or 4 months before it stopped.
She says, a hand touching your shoulder gently.
It passes.
You look up at her, then glance down at her belly. Oh, I don't think I am.
Oh.
She says, surprised.
What is it?
I have no idea, you say and slump down, face in your hands. In a perfect world, you'd be saved from this embarrassment by Mom's nurse friend entering the room, but there's no such luck. You sit awkwardly, noticing the girl gently rubbing her baby bump and miming some kind of song to herself. After entirely too long, you hear a man walk into the waiting room, politely saying goodbye to another woman who you can only presume was his previous patient.
Lacey?
He asks. You glance up. He's not much older than you, with a ginger beard, a slightly receding hairline, and a tattoo just visible on his wrist under his scrubs. Perfect. You nod and stand up.
In here,
He says, smiling.
Good luck.
Says the girl. You turn to face her and she keeps talking.
I have a good feeling for you. Things will be okay.
She says, smiling. Thanks, you say, smiling back. Take care of yourself and the little one.
Always.
She says. You follow the nurse into the small office. He gestures to a chair on one side of a small space.
Please, sit down.
Sit down. You take a seat and breathe out deeply.
I'm Dan.
Hi, Dan, he says, sitting opposite you.
Mon says you're not feeling well. Wanna tell me the whole story? Much as you can.
Okay, you say. Well, I was at a party and hooked up with someone,
Uh-huh.
he says, taking some notes on a clipboard.
Did he use a condom?
We should
Correct him.
Yeah, when it comes to medicals, you really want to be precise. Actually,
It's probably fine if you didn't, but it's always safer to...
she didn't, but, I don't think we did anything where it'd have helped,
Oh,
he says, his face broadening suddenly.
okay.
He makes a note.
So, what did you do?
That's the weird thing, you say. I don't remember much. Kissing, biting, fooling around, nothing like down there? Or maybe we did, I don't remember.
So, tell me how you've been feeling.
Well, I don't remember coming home, but I also wasn't drunk enough to, feel like I should remember, You sigh and then continue. So I was, in and out of fever for days, barely remember it. Apparently I told my housemate I was okay, but I don't even remember talking to her. I was throwing up, I had a fever, I have this vivid memory of throwing up my own teeth, blood everywhere.
Are your teeth okay?
Dan asks. It's the weird thing, it's I had these really intense dreams that felt real. They still felt weird though, they're definitely still in there, but you know how when you lose a tooth as a kid, you end up tonguing your gum for days? It's that feeling. How weird. No idea what prompted you to start talking at such length about teeth? It's not like he's a shrink, but you're sure there's some psychological reason for the dreams about losing teeth. Dan scribbles more notes.
And how are you feeling now?
Well, I threw up in the bathroom just out there a few minutes ago, you admit. And I can't just shake this feeling of intense hunger, but I can't keep anything down. Food tastes terrible, too. Dan furrows his brow.
How long ago was this party?
You shrug. Few nights?
That recently.
He asks, glancing up at you. You nod. I think it was Saturday night.
Well, even if you were with a man, it's too early from any symptoms from that. Pregnancy or even any STD I can think of.
He says, seemingly thinking aloud. So what do you think? It is, you ask.
Hard to say.
He says.
But I might just give you a quick check over.
He motions to the small raised bed.
Can you just hop up on here?
Lying down, you ask.
No, sitting is fine for now.
He says and reaches over to grab a thermometer. Sit down as he asks. You sit up on the cheap little medical bed and realize you're involuntarily biting at the inside of your cheek. A moment later, he's standing in front of you. He furrows his brow and tilts his head, looking at one side of your neck.
What happened to your neck?
You feel yourself blush slightly and let out a forced chuckle. Well, she was rough, you say. Dan looks even more serious for a moment.
I have to ask this, but I'm only going to do it once. Lacey, was what happened at the party what you wanted? Did you give full consent for whatever happened with that girl?
It's confusing, right? Because we did when we started.
Mm-hmm.
Well, no. We did tell her to go ahead with it. We might not have known fully what that was in for, but we did tell her that she couldn't hurt us, right? No, we that is what we said. The exact word. That's not the same thing, mind you.
Yeah, I don't think
so we're clear. But I can understand why she got that impression. Okay, just so we're I'm gonna stop talking now. Let's say we're not sure anymore. Yes, you say, not even convincing yourself. I mean, mostly. I wanted to be with her for sure, but I can't remember most of it, so I really don't know how I feel about that.
And would you make the same choice again, given the chance?
He asks. Why are you pressing us on this? Why do you care so much? You ask him, folding your arms. You aren't a shrink, you're a nurse.
It's my job,
he says.
If I'm seeing a patient and there's evidence of, I have to give them the option to refer it on.
To the fucking pigs? You say, shaking your head.
No, to people who can help,
he says. Well, I don't need help. I just need to find out what's wrong with me, you say.
Okay, well look, I have to be honest. I ask those questions, but I genuinely believe it's probably gastric. Nothing at all to do with the party, unless you ate something bad. There might be dysentery or,
He says, wait, you say, cutting him off.
Dysentery?
Dysentery? Dysentery? You ask, incredulous. That's like some kind of World War I shit, isn't it?
I mean, it's often associated with bad conditions like that, but it's just a bacterial infection. It's unpleasant, but it passes.
He explains. You shake your head. Jesus fucking Christ, is that what this is?
Okay.
He says, breaking the short but stagnant silence in the room.
I'm gonna give you a quick checkup now.
You slowly lower your arms from their defensive position, folded over your stomach.
Open your mouth wide and poke your tongue out.
He says. You open your mouth, and a moment later he's pressing your tongue down gently and flashing a penlight into your mouth. He frowns.
You have some scarring next to your canines.
He says. You shuffle, slightly uncomfortable.
Okay. Closed now?
You do so. What does that mean? You ask him.
Not sure, but it might be related to throwing up. Stomach acid is potent stuff.
He doesn't sound like he... Do we press him on it?
I don't know.
Let's... Why does it sound like you're trying to convince yourself of that and not me, you ask?
I've just never seen anything like it.
He admits. He sounds flustered. That's unsettling.
Okay, I'm gonna take your temperature now.
He says. He takes your temperature, you both sitting there in some yet more silence as you fight the urge to gnaw on the thermometer sitting in your mouth while Dan stares at his watch. When it's done, he stares at the thermometer looking concerned. Jesus Christ, what now?
Well, you're very cool indeed.
I know, you say, putting on the best smirk you can manage. He ignores the joke.
Like, more than a few degrees below what anyone should be.
You say nothing, fighting the urge to run from the room.
I'm going to check your heart rate now.
He says and grabs your wrist, pressing in slightly. You sit silently, feeling your heart pulse as Dan, the nurse, visibly counts along with it while staring at his watch. He furrows his brow. Well, that's concerning. What's wrong? You ask, trying to play it cool.
Look, give me a sec. I need to check your heart rate again. That can't be right.
He stands up and walks over to his desk and retrieves the stethoscope.
Okay.
He says.
Can you take your top off, please?
You feel a little bit worried now. Okay, so maybe a lot worried. You remove your denim jacket, then your t-shirt. You're now sitting topless, but for the small beige t-shirt bra. You swallow hard. Dan puts the stethoscope in the middle of your chest, pressing the thing fairly firmly against your skin. To your surprise, it doesn't feel that uncomfortable. None of the usual wincing at the cold. You wait. Time slows down. Dan counts, then removes the stethoscope and looks concerned. He says nothing. Can I put my top back on? You ask. He nods and you begin to slip back on your t-shirt.
How are you feeling, right?
He asks. You shrug. Okay, honestly, better than I have in a few hours at least. He says nothing. Why? You ask, shifting about as you feel the discomfort oozing from the nurse. Slowly, carefully, he removes his stethoscope and places it back on his desk. Then he turns to look seriously into your eyes.
Your heart rate is about 15 beats per minute,
he says. How the hell is that possible? How is that even possible?
While you're still conscious and walking around? It's kinda not,
he replies. The nurse slowly puts his thermometer and stethoscope back down on his desk and looks up at you again.
Lacey, I'm gonna call Mon. I think it's really important we get you to a hospital. I can't make you go, of course, but I think you need emergency care, and very soon indeed.
You hop to your feet, your fight or flight instinct fighting itself big time. No, you say. I'm fine.
I realize it might feel that way now, but this might be the most important decision you make, Lacey.
Dan holds his hands up, holding them at you, palms out like he's calming a wild animal. He begins moving toward you. Stay the fuck back, you say.
I'm not moving toward you. I'm heading for the door,
he says. No fucking way. I'm getting out of here first, you say. He dashes for the door at the same time you do. There's a pause, his hand on the doorknob, keys jangling from his offhand. What is that? You ask. Where are you going? Were you going to lock me in here?
No,
he says.
But you might be a danger to yourself, so
You see red. Let's not hit him.
Yeah.
Grab the door handle from under his fingers and yank it open, pushing him back in the process. He goes flying, twisting slightly and slamming back against the wall with a meaty thud. Holy shit, did you just do that? This guy's to be twice your mass. Oh shit, you say, taking a step toward him. I'm so sorry, I have no idea how I did that, you stammer. Dan writhes a bit, putting a hand to the back of his head, then bringing it around. There's blood on it. Holy hell, you've heard it bad. Here, you say, offering a hand to help him up.
Keep away from me,
he stammers, staring at the blood, as more of it drops down from the back of his head and slides down his neck and pools in the dip below the middle of his clavicle. God damn, that blood is... The room goes dark. And it's hard to focus on anything but the blood. The hunger picks up on you. You soon realize that your hand is reaching out, but no longer to help him up. You touch his hand and bring it back with some of his blood on it. You raise your bloody fingers to the front of your face, staring intently at them. You watch the blood drip slowly down your finger. The smell is intoxicating. And then you realize you're moving your fingers closer. Slip the tips of your fingers between them, pushing them against your tongue so you can taste it. Every sense rises electric. It is perfect. It is beautiful. It is the best taste, the best feeling you have ever felt. You hear a gasp of pleasure. Was that you? You've sucked your fingers dry in a moment and are once more staring down at the man lying in a growing pool of blood beneath him.
Oh, Jesus.
He says, his jaw slack. The door behind you pushes open.
Is everything okay, Dan?
That's the older voice of an older woman, also in scrubs. You panic. You shove her aside, hard, and move as fast as you can out through the waiting room.
Are you okay?
The pregnant girl asks. No, you mumble as you rush past her. Moments later, you're in your car, fumbling for your keys and kicking the car into gear. You're a block away in what feels like an instant. I feel like we shouldn't be driving. Pull over several blocks from the beach, intentionally pulling up far enough away from the streetlights to be bathed in darkness. God damn. What was that thing from the meditation class you took once with your big sister? Breathing. Catch your breathing. In, out. In, out. Soon you feel calm again. Just what in the fuck was that? Close your eyes. Several minutes pass. The sound of the traffic on a nearby main road really is the only thing that you can hear. Then after a few minutes, you open your eyes and exhale deeply. Whatever that was, you need to find Paige. Like, now. Where to next? I guess at this point, we gotta go find where Brad is shooting his film.
All right.
Let's park our car. The most famous cemetery in Los Angeles, Hollywood Forever, is a memorable place. It's home to an odd, curled series of paths with a wide variety of different graves from the first century of Hollywood. From tiny plaques set in the grass belonging to people who died before World War I, to gaudy monuments to film stars that still have flowers and other gifts laid freshly on them every year. You always thought it was quite romantic. The kind of place you'd sneak into during late-night high school to get drunk on cheap booze while sitting atop the enormous monument to Douglas Fairbanks. Hollywood Forever very much informed your idea of just what a cemetery would be, in feel and layout. The Los Angeles National Cemetery is absolutely 100% not even close to being Hollywood Forever. So much that it is jarring. It's a cemetery for deceased servicemen and women, a maze of block after block of small, understated plaques and simple headstones. You can't even see the end from one side. You park your car and sigh, wondering where to even begin looking for Brad. It's, northwest sounds good. Unsure just where to go, you begin to meander off to the northwest, mostly as there's more of the park to cover that way. After a good 5 minutes and some deep-seated concern, you hear some sounds coming from near a chapel, near some trees. You head for them. As you do, you wonder, just what is Brad shooting? A funeral at night sounds weird, but what else do you film in a cemetery? Buffy is what you film at night in a cemetery.
Yeah, let's keep the chapel between us and the noise, just in case.
Yeah, just in case they're filming. Good call. Chapel itself is right near the street, with an iron fence between it and the not-so-busy street. You sneak to the near side of the chapel and lean in, listen a bit closer. There's definitely people meandering about the other side of the chapel, and from the sounds of the chatter, they're not in the middle of shooting anything. Alright, let's go around. Glancing around a little, you walk down the side of the chapel and emerge from the other side, almost running into a guy who's shifting his glances around sideways.
Oh, Jesus.
Sorry, you say.
Oh, good. You're a vampire.
He says. Okay then. So, I'm looking for Brad, you say.
No, right.
He says.
Brad's over there.
He gestures to a small collection of 20-something guys. You vaguely recall what Brad looks like, but which one is he? You ask.
The one with the aqua sweater around his waist.
Thanks, you say.
You know?
He calls out as you walk towards Brad.
If you want to stick around, you could play a great vampire for us. You don't want to be an actress?
No thanks, but you guys have fun.
No trouble.
The guy says. Walk up to Brad. Brad is standing by the camera talking to a slightly older guy who's fidgeting with some knobs and dials.
If they come in too far to camera right, they won't be in much light.
The camera guy says.
I mean, it might look cool, but it'll be hard to tell until we see the rushes. We might miss half the extras.
Yeah, okay.
Brad says.
I mean, no point wrangling everyone out here if it's gonna look cheap.
He then calls out to a young woman standing by a collection of pale people in dark clothing.
Yo, Sandy.
He calls out.
Could you change their marks up a bit? Get them to keep just a bit closer to the road.
Okay, the girl calls back and begins to hurt the cold-looking extras in pale makeup. Excuse me, you say. Sorry for interrupting. Brad turns around to face you.
Who are you?
I'm Lacey, you say. Friend of Mon's?
Okay.
He says. You glance at the cluster of vampires off in the cemetery. Seem a bit scrappy, you note. And there's a lot of them.
Yeah, well, I figure, we always see single vampires, but if they bite people and they turn, wouldn't there be a lot of them? So this is like a zombie movie, but more sexy.
Vampires are sexy? You ask.
Of course.
He says.
Ah, damn it.
He says, then turning back to the group of vampires.
Sandra, the other way. Camera right. Hang on.
Takes a place toward the vampires and a voice calls out from the other side. Oh, hey Brad, how much longer will we be?
Lacey, can you, go talk to Farah over there and just make sure she's okay?
Brad says, then walks briskly towards his extras. You sigh. Look toward the girl who's calling out for Brad. You glance around to see a bored, cold-looking girl with a towel around her otherwise just bikini-clad body. Her attention has turned from Brad to you. She sighs. Fuck it, go talk to her. Are you Farah? You ask, walking up to her.
Yeah, who are you?
She says, shivering. You snort. I was just here to ask Brad something.
And he's put you to work? Sounds like him.
She says.
We were supposed to have this shot in the can by now, and we haven't even begun shooting.
So why are you in a bikini then? She rolls her eyes.
Because my character is apparently in a bikini.
In a graveyard? You interject.
In a graveyard.
She laughs.
When vampires attack, it apparently represents my character's inherent nakedness in the face of such monsters.
And you gotta stake them, you ask. She shakes her head, then gestures behind her.
No, shotgun.
Sure enough, leaning against a knee-high brick wall is a full-length shotgun. Jesus, you say. So can I help any? Do you need something?
What I bloody want is for this scene to start so it can be done soon and I can go warm the hell up. But honestly, I'd settle for a cigarette if you got one.
Actually, I think I just might, you say. Search for cigarette and lighter. Sure enough, inside your handbag, you find a half-spent packet of cigarettes and a paper packet and a crappy disposable lighter. You hand her both of them. A mite later, she's lit one up and handed it all back to you.
Thanks, you're a lifesaver.
She says. She then sits down on the wall and crosses her legs to try and stop shivering.
Moved from Illinois to sunny California to become an actress and end up freezing my damn nipples off in a cemetery.
Where'd you expect to be? Not where you saw yourself by now? She shrugs.
I expected to be making low-budget trash or student films, same as in Chicago. Just, I figured I'd be doing it in the sun.
Yeah, fair enough, you say. She then looks you up and down a bit.
Aren't you cold?
You glance down at yourself. You're still in your t-shirt and denim jacket, plus your denim cutoffs. I mean, I've got a jacket on, you say. Anyway, I think I'm just getting over a fever or something. I can never tell if I feel hot or cold right now.
Oh, here's Brad.
Farah says as Brad walks up to you both.
Everything okay?
He asks.
Yeah, can we just get started soon?
The actress asks.
As soon as possible, I promise.
Brad says, then turns his attention to you, the second person appraising you in as many minutes.
Wait, I think I recognize you. Were you at my party?
Brad asks. Yes, you say. Good party, but I need to find someone who was there. It's urgent.
Who do you need to find?
He asked. Her name's Paige, you say.
Oh.
He says, shaking his head.
She's a fucking heartbreaker.
Oh, really? What do you mean by that? What exactly, you ask.
Maybe she gets around?
Farah asks. Brad shakes his head.
No, she broke my heart. Thought I was in with a shot, then I found out she's a dyke.
Farah gasps.
Jesus, Brad.
You wince. Brad thinks a little.
Maybe.
He finally says. Then once again, Sandra calls out. Brad, darling, these fangs have dropped down. We can't find them. They're in the grass somewhere. Brad calls out to her.
Jesus, Sandra. Just keep her in the back and tell her to keep her mouth closed during the scene.
Brad, Paige, I need to find her, please, you say. He sighs.
I don't know. I met her a few times, but I can't even remember where from. She was dating one of my sister's friends, Natasha.
Well, can you tell me how to contact Natasha then? You sigh.
Nah.
He says.
Oh, wait, hang on.
He fishes into a bag sitting by the shotgun and produces a small book which he leafs through.
I never got her address.
He says.
But I remember she was working at a bar most nights. Oh my god.
Farah says.
Is that an actual little black book, Brad? What?
He asks.
A man has appetites.
You grimace.
Wait.
Farah continues.
You wrote down where she worked in your little black book? Do you have any idea how creepy that is, dude?
Brad shrugs, then pauses, staring at the book a moment. Brad tears a paper out of the book and hands it to you.
You might as well keep it. Guess she's a dyke, too.
You see red. time and a place.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think
We've got much bigger problems right now. This guy,
he
fuck him, but also
yeah, but also I like we gotta stuff to do. Fuming quietly to yourself, you grab the paper and stuff it in your bag. Saying nothing else, you stand up and turn to Farah. See you later, Farah, you say. Lovely to meet you.
You know what?
Farah says, standing up and staring at you, then back at Brad.
Fuck you, Brad. I'm leaving.
You raise an eyebrow quietly to yourself.
What? No, you can't do that. We've already shot 3 days. I can't recast you now. Well,
Farah says, following behind you after dropping the towel and grabbing a jacket from the ground.
I'll give you your $60 back.
Brad keeps angrily cursing you both as you begin to walk out into the cemetery, away from the film shoot. When you're out of earshot, Farah laughs. That feel good? You ask. She nods, finishing the cigarette you gave her and tossing it into a bin as you pass. You need a lift anywhere? You ask.
Nah,
She says.
my car's parked over there.
Oh, right, you say, suddenly understanding why she seemed to be following you. The night is suddenly interrupted by the sound of cars pulling up and loud male voices. You both turn around as 2 cop cars come by to a stop at the chapel. Damn, you say. Guess he should have gotten permission. Farah shrugs as she keeps walking.
The cops won't do anything. He's a rich white guy. Hell, they'll probably offer him more guns for the next shoot.
Hollywood deserves him, you say, shaking your head as you both wander out of the parking lot. Farah walks up to an old Buick that looks like it might just be in worse condition than your multicolor Wonder.
Good luck finding your girl.
She calls out as you unlock your car. Good luck finding a less shitty director, you call out.
No such thing.
She says, sighing and getting into her car. Get into your car. And get into your car and uncrumple the address from Brad, musing on your next move. It's the address of a bar in West Hollywood. Hedera Bar. Sitting in the cemetery parking lot, you wince slightly before turning the key again.
Always up late. You see, I'm an insomniac,
Says a voice. That's definitely looking for you. Means you get to listen to the best DJ in LA, Humble Harry, the night DJ croons. Now, you want to give us our listener station check? The other voice laughs.
Sure thing, Harry. This is KQYY, because why not?
Haha, sure is, Charlie. Next up, we're in a jam. A Pearl Jam. Oh my god, you murmur, shaking your head and staring up at the lit up radio dial. Who gave you a job? I sure too love to introduce bands named after cum in that way. You realize, of course, you could change the station, but you doubt many of the DJs at this hour are much better. You have a decision to make. As you're musing on it, you have a sudden flashback to Dan again, lying on the ground, blood around him. Shit, would they call the cops? You hope they don't. It's bad enough that Mon will know, and you still feel awful about hurting the poor guy. Well, we don't really have a choice, I guess.
Yeah?
Time to go for the ex-girlfriend, you figure. Hopefully she can help. It's the longest drive yet this evening, all the way into West Hollywood. You've not been this way in a good few months, you muse, as the traffic heading east on Sunset begins to slow to a crawl. God only knows how, it's late as hell. Why is there even this much traffic? Figure everyone is still heading there for a drink. All the ones on enough coke to want nightcaps in the middle of the week anyway. Though that is probably a decent percent of the people you find on the Sunset Strip drinking much at the time anyway. That or heroin. After entirely too long driving, occasionally glancing down at your gas levels, like your car's about to suddenly stop, you end up near the bar. Based on the address, you figure it's not far from the Viper Room, and sure enough it is. Just a little ways west and on the other side of the street, a few doors down from the Roxy. Let's find a park. After performing an illegal U-turn over the center lines, you pull up behind a scratch-looking sedan. Shit, you curse as you almost run into the back of it trying to parallel park. You turn the engine off and get out of the car, staring at the lineless front door and bored-looking bouncer standing in front of the bar. It's 2 stories and sandwiched between a closed diner and a Bank of America branch. The sign announcing its presence is lit up quite tall and has a handful of plants growing in and around the edges. As you're beginning to walk up to the entrance, you catch a look down at yourself in the nearby streetlight. There's blood on the bottom of your t-shirt. How on earth did you miss that? Damn it. The blood has to be Dan's. That's as unsettling. The bouncer sees that. You ponder what to do for a moment.
Try to save the shirt. You got tie up the shirt. It's the 90s. It fits.
Or you can still get the blood out later, and you do rather like this t-shirt. It's a band shirt from a gig you went to in San Diego 2 years ago, even if it is very faded indeed. Quickly grab 2 parts of the bottom of the tee and try to tie them in a knot. It's annoyingly difficult, and you hear a slight tear making you cringe. Oh well, at least now you have a crop top. Tighten the knot under your bra, hopefully still not visible through it. That test done, you wander up to the entrance. Standing in front of the bar is a muscle-bound man in a Hedera polo shirt, wearing a top knot and reeking of cheap cologne. He looks down at you as you approach. "Closed for the night," he says. "Huh?" you ask, confused given the doors open. "Nick's about to call last drinks," he says, like that's supposed to mean something to you. "So look, I won't stay long, just my friend is in there and I really need to talk to her." "Sorry," he says. "Last drink's been called, so that's it. End of the line." "She's behind the bar?" you ask. "Natasha?" He shakes his head. "Sorry, lady. Rules are rules. You can catch up with Tosh when she finishes." At least he confirmed she's indeed working tonight. That's something. "When will that be?" you ask. He shrugs. "Hour or two. She and Nick gotta clean up before they go home." He winces as you imagine losing 2 more hours of your night when you're so goddamn desperate to find Paige. "Thank you," you mutter, absolutely not meaning it. You walk a few doors down the street and ponder what to do. Oh well, there's no harm in checking out if there's a back way in. Yeah! You wander past a pair of drunk tourists excitedly gesturing across and up the street at the Viper Club, then head down a back alley. At the end of it, there's another small lane that runs perpendicular to Sunset, if only for half a block. Several garage doors and loading docks for various shops sit there. Sure enough, it extends as far as the Hedera bar. Go check out the back of that bar. The back of the bar is a tiny loading ramp leading up to some padlocked double doors, a surface entrance that also looks very locked, and 2 small windows just above head height. You know those kind of windows? Even without knowing the layout of the bar, you bet those lead to 2 small bathrooms. One of the windows appears to be open mercifully, and if you're lucky, you just may fit through. Never been so glad you're naturally small-framed. The question is, getting up to it. You briefly try jumping, but find that while you can reach it, you just can't get purchase on the bricks with your shoes. You need another way to reach it. The angle is off, maybe you can climb on the boot of the 89 Porsche that's parked right nearby. Trash can over to give you an extra 2 feet or so of height. I feel like I don't want to be responsible for ruining someone's car, so let's move that trash can. Trying to keep the noise down, you move a metal trash can over by the cement, gritting your teeth as it makes a nasty screech. Damn it. You curse under your breath as you let it sit for a moment before climbing up on the thing. Once you're on the bin, it's much easier to get purchase on the windowsill. You swear it's easier, like a lot easier, to haul your body weight up through the window. Not that you do this kind of thing often, but damn. Think back to somehow accidentally throwing up Dan the nurse into the wall without meaning to. Jesus, this is really weird. The bathroom stall is very small, and you drop down into it easily enough, that you do manage to knock over the feminine hygiene bin with a clatter. Fortunately, the lid doesn't come off, and you right it without issue. Patting yourself down and running your fingers through your hair, you open the door and head out into the bar. The main downstairs, a bar of Hedera, has no windows, almost like a casino, but instead of gaudy lights, there's numerous ferns and vines over the walls with lights pushing through them on the walls. It's an interesting look, and for a moment you wonder how many of the plants here are fake. Watering the ones up near the ceiling that run down the lights would be difficult. The room has a half dozen or small groups sitting around tables drinking, and the music is entirely too damn loud for this time of night. A man and a woman stand behind the bar cleaning glasses. "Last drinks, people," called the man. If we're driving, we shouldn't have a drink, probably.
Good point.
Let's wait until they're done. Try to hang back, wait until the influx of last round folks have gotten their nightcaps sorted. At one point, you catch the eye of the girl behind the bar who regards you somewhat curiously. Finally, the people seem done. Approach the bar. As you walk up, the girl gives you a polite smile that betrays a serious sleep debt. "Hey," you say to her, "I'm looking for Natasha?" She looks momentarily flustered, looking around as if she's expecting some sort of candid camera prank.
Yeah?
She finally says,
"That's me."
"I really need to talk to you. Any chance you could spare a few minutes?" She looks at you a moment, then around the bar.
"Hey, Nick."
She calls out to the man across the other end of the bar.
"I'm taking 10.
She makes a cigarette gesture when she turns to look. He gestures acknowledgement and continues cleaning. "Can we go somewhere a bit more quiet?" you ask loudly, once more fighting to be heard over the music.
"Yeah?"
She says,
"Follow me."
"Let's follow her." Natasha quickly vanishes through a door and a marked staff, which leads to a tiny hallway with a dozen crates and empty beer kegs to either side. She keeps walking down the hall, opening another door and heading through. Following her, inside you find a tiny stairwell twisting its way up. You wind up with it past the second story until you finally follow Natasha out a fire door and into the cool night. The roof of the bar has an odd smattering of bird poop, cigarette butts, and a few fast food wrappers with the same logo as the store next door. Natasha walks straight over to the edge and plants herself right on the lip. You walk up and sit near her, glancing down at the street before settling in. It's a gorgeous view of Sunset Boulevard. Cars, drunks, and tourists buzz about below. The kind of desperate laughter filters up that can only come from people out getting hammered on a work night.
A cigarette?
Natasha asks, getting one out for herself and lighting it. No thanks, you say. It's funny, you haven't had a cigarette craving since the party. It's a little odd for you.
So, who are you?
She asks you as you take your first drag of the cigarette. It's harsher than you're used to, but it doesn't really bother you for some reason. My name's Lace, you say. Natasha nods, all the acknowledgement she seems prepared to offer.
So,
She says, biting her lip.
is this about Paige?
Yes, actually, how did you figure that? She gestures with her cigarette.
Your neck?
You glance down, remembering the bad bruising and bite mark. What about it? You ask. Natasha reaches up, slides a light silk-looking sash around her neck down. It's clearly healed some, but there it is, same as yours, bruises and some kind of bite wound on her neck. Shit, you sigh.
What do you want to know about her?
She asks. I'm trying to find her, you admit.
Why the hell would you want to do that?
She asks.
What's so important you need to find her?
So, this is kind of awkward. You begin finding it a little uncomfortable telling a stranger about all this. She politely waits. And at this party, we hooked up, I think, but stuff got weird. She nods, her face dropping.
What did she do?
She asks. I don't know, you admit. I don't remember much of it.
And why on earth would you want to find her after that?
It's certainly not to hook up again, you admit.
Well, I'm afraid I'm not sure I can help. I don't know where she is, and I'm not exactly chomping at the bit to find her either.
You let her comment sit a moment. Do you mind if I ask, what happened between you two? I mean, like, what did she do to... You pause, the next word seemingly uncomfortable to form. To your neck. She sighs.
We'd been together a while, living together even. We were going to get a bichon from this animal care place. Then, like a month ago...
Yeah? You prompt. She closes her eyes and takes a deep drag from her cigarette before continuing.
She was out clubbing or something. I don't know. That's her shit, not mine.
She says.
Though, ironically, we met at a club, but well, like my friend dragged me along and I only said yes because a local band I liked was playing.
Uh-huh.
Anyway, she had a big night. Like a huge night or something. She got real sick and it was just... Everything was bad at that point. She pulled away from me, quit her job. She wasn't paying rent. We came damn close to getting kicked out.
She says.
It was real rough shit.
And that was when she attacked you? You ask. Natasha shakes her head.
No, I'd had enough. I kicked her out. That was like a month ago. She got angry with me, but...
She shrugs.
We never did click that well. I think we just stayed together for the sex. It wasn't healthy.
I can, unfortunately, relate to that, you admit.
Anyway, like a week ago, she turns up at my apartment. I told her to come by as she left some of her shit there, but that was like ages before that, and I wasn't expecting her. Was all set to donate it to Goodwill or something.
She pauses.
Everything but her strap-on, that is.
You laugh. Yeah, look, if Goodwill had things like that, I would probably still avoid them.
You just sanitize them.
She says. You shake your head, grimacing. I don't know, it just feels weird. Too personal. You both enjoy the brief moment of levity, then a surprisingly comfortable silence. How did she do that to your neck, you ask?
She seemed kinda off, you know? Like, not all there. She kept asking how I was doing. Then she'd apologize, saying she was a bitch to me, which she was.
She says.
Then, as we chatted, at one point she just got distracted or something, leaned in and kissed me.
How did you react, you say?
Honestly, I kissed her back. It's stupid, I know, but I'd missed her. She'd been with me every day for what felt like forever, and I missed just those little bits of affection.
She says, staring off into space.
But then...
She kissed your neck, you ask? She nods.
At first, she just kissed, then hugged me, and I missed her so much. Fuck, I just let the hug sit there, you know? It was so nice. Then...
She pauses.
Then she just lost it. Bit me so fucking hard.
Her eyes shimmer a bit as tears form.
I asked her to stop, and she didn't.
I'm so sorry, you say.
After a while, she stopped on her own. She looked terrible.
Natasha says.
Thin, haggard, pale as hell. I mean, she was never exactly a beach baby, but damn, she didn't want to eat. She didn't want to drink anything. I honestly thought she was on something.
What makes you think that she wasn't, you ask? Natasha furrows her brow and looks out over the street a bit before replying.
I've had friends hooked on everything at some time or other. This wasn't like anything I'd ever seen.
Ah, you say.
Anyway, I'd know. We lived in this tiny little condominium. If she was taking anything during those days, I'd have seen it or found it at least.
She says with confidence. How'd you feel afterwards? She snorts and stubs out her cigarette, lighting another one instantly.
How do you think? Hurt? Scared? I went into my room and was just like sobbing while I tried to bandage myself.
I'm so sorry, you say. I meant more like, physically, how did you feel? She smokes her fresh cigarette and shrugs.
Faint, mostly. I'd lost a lot of blood. Our phone was out. I'd stopped paying it after Paige left, so I wrapped something around my neck and ran out to a payphone. Called 911. Gonna be paying off that fucking ambulance bill for the rest of my damn life.
What did the doctor say? You ask after having an uncomfortable flashback to the way Dan treated you at the free clinic. Her cigarette goes out.
Shit.
She says. Grab the lighter from your jacket pocket and lean over, relighting it for her.
Thanks.
She says.
You know I was actually quitting before all this shit with Paige?
Hard to quit when you're stressed and hurting, you say.
The doctors...
She finally continues.
Well, they said I was already anemic and losing the blood didn't help. Put me on a drip, told me to eat more red meat, and sent me home.
What were the next few days like? You ask, flashing back to the last few days of hellish fever.
Real tired.
She said.
I kept my door locked. Honestly, wish I had somewhere else to go.
So that was it? You ask.
I mean, that was bad enough.
She says. No, like, fever? You ask.
Fever?
She asks.
How do you mean?
Like, a fever, you say. Lost a whole day or two, throwing up, not keeping food down, barely conscious, even like, I swear I threw up a tooth. Natasha reacts instantly, dropping her cigarette and taking a step backwards.
Fuck off.
She says.
Get the fuck away from me.
What? You say, standing up in confusion.
That's not what happened to me. That's what happened to her, to Paige.
She says, her eyes glistened a little as she tears up.
You're like her.
You hold your hands up, palms out. Whoa, you say. Calm down. I promise I won't hurt you.
Yeah.
She says.
That's what Paige said too.
I'm serious, you say, taking a step back. I'll keep back from you and I'll leave and I'll never come back. Just please, I need to know more. She pauses her retreat for a moment. You feel your eyes begin to sting. Please, I'm so fucking scared. Natasha doesn't reply, just looking at you, her arms folded. She's the only one who might have any idea what the fuck is going on, you say as you feel a pain in your eye, followed by the feeling of a tear sliding down your cheek.
Jesus Christ.
She exclaims, taking another step backwards.
What the fuck is with your eye?
What? You say, sniffling. I'm crying.
Blood.
She says.
There's blood coming from your eye.
Jesus, you say, covering your face with your hands and stepping further away. Just, please, you ask, feeling pain in your other eye as yet another tear forms. You both stand in silence for a moment. I just want to know what's happening to me, you say, ending with an involuntary sob.
Do I have to goddamn spell it out for you?
She asks. You think of Paige biting Natasha. You think back to the clinic, imagining Dan in front of you, remembering what the blood smelled like and how incapable you were of controlling yourself and not just licking it all up. How you wanted more of it, no matter what it took. You think of the sunburn when you sat briefly outside in indirect sunlight. No, you say, wiping a tear from your cheek. You don't. Where can I find her? You ask.
I don't know where she's staying,
Natasha says.
But I know she's still been out clubbing, same people she always went with. This total asshole, Caleb, and sometimes this friend of hers, Julian.
Where can I find them? You ask.
Don't know or want to know about where that shit Caleb lives, but Julian's in Echo Park, above the butcher shop on the corner of Sunset and Lemoyne.
She says. You sigh in relief. At least you have another lead now, no matter how tenuous it is. Well, thank you, you say.
I'm going back in now,
Natasha says.
Going to lock the doors. The fire escape's over there. Just...
I know. Don't worry. You won't ever see me again, you say, feeling another painful tear leak out. She walks toward the door and opens it up. Then she turns back around to face you one last time.
For what it's worth,
Natasha says.
I'm sorry she did this to you. I'd be terrified too.
Thank you for your help. I'll try, you say. Hope you find someone to get that Baishan with. She smiles.
It's the dream.
The door closes and you hear a bar being moved across it. Well, that sucks.
Yeah. That's
all right.
That's certainly something.
That's certainly a whole lot of something here. Thank you again to all of our patrons for supporting us for another month. people who support us at patreon.com/APR get to vote on an indie creator for us to feature on the channel each month, which is why we just played this fantastic novella by Elissa Black. And also gets to access to some Patreon exclusive episodes before the rest of the channel does. They get to see the Patreon potpourri a month before it goes live on the main channel, and they also get to see the entirely Patreon exclusive Let's Play of Ace Attorney. We'd also like to give a super special shout out to our patrons that are I'm Jacked In tier, including Alice,
Alyssa Clarkson,
Raina,
Snowflurry,
and the Fighting Doll. As a reminder, all the money we make from Patreon goes back into the channel at this point, so we just use that to buy like new equipment and games and just keep our channel getting bigger and better.
Yeah.
So thank you all, and we hope you have a great end of January. It's like 2 days left in it. Whatever.
Smash that like, comment and subscribe.